the Snowbell Hollow. You come down off the wide white slope in the still of the winter night, and below you, sheltered out of the wind in a fold of the snow hills, glows the hollow, a warm gold light spilling up out of the deep blue snow, and above it, filling the whole enormous sky. The northern lights are moving, slow and silent, great soft curtains of green and rose drifting and folding across the stars. All the long day you cross the cold, bright world, in its glare and its wind and its endless white distance. But the day is finished now, and the wind has dropped, and the cold has gone soft and still. And down there in the sheltered hollow there is warmth and light, and a place kept for you. You can set everything down here at the top of the slope. Whatever you carried across the long white miles of today, the snow will keep it for you, cold and safe and perfectly still, and you need not carry it down into the warm. You have come to the hollow for the long winter's rest, and there is no cozier place in all the cold wide world. Down in the fold of the hills, dug warm and deep into the snow itself, there is a den lined with furs and lit with lanterns and warmed by a small good fire, and around it, hung from the boughs of the frost trees, are the snowbells, little bells of clear ice that the still cold air rings very softly. Now and then, one at a time, a small high silver sound like the sound the stars would make if you could hear them. And over it all the great aurora moves, slow and silent and enormous, so that to lie warm in the hollow and watch it drift is the deepest rest a winter night can give. Word came ahead of you across the snow, passed along by the herders and the trappers and the quiet folk of the far cold north. Someone is coming down off the high slope. Warm the den, light the lanterns, hang the kettle. So here you are at the top of the blue snow slope, and down in the hollow the gold light glows, and someone is waiting for you there. You come down the slope toward the light, and the snow underfoot is deep and dry and squeaks softly with each step, and it is not the cruel wet cold of a bad day, but the clean still cold of a calm winter night, the kind that pinches your cheeks pleasantly and makes the warmth ahead of you all the sweeter to think of. The frost trees stand about the hollow, small and bent and furred all over with white rime, and hung in their branches the ice snowbells catch the aurora and the lantern light and shine, and now and then, as you pass, the still air stirs one, and it gives its small high silver note, and the note hangs a moment in the cold and then is gone. The aurora drifts overhead, green and rose, lighting the whole snow world a soft, ghostly color, and beneath it the hollow glows warm and gold and waiting. Down at the mouth of the den, where the warm gold light spills out across the blue snow, a figure is waiting for you, a lantern held low so its light falls on the snow and not in your eyes. The keeper of the hollow is old the way the far north makes people old, small and round, and wrapped so deep in soft pale furs that they seem almost a warm creature of the snow themselves, with a broad kind-weathered face, all warm creases, and dark eyes bright and gentle above rosy cold-nipped cheeks. Their breath smokes softly in the cold, and their mittened hands are sure and slow, and there is about them a deep good warmth, the warmth of someone who has kept a fire alight through a great many long winter nights and never once let it go out. There you are, they say, in a voice as warm and soft, and even as the fur they wear, slow and unhurried and impossible to worry near. Come down out of the cold, quick now, into the warm. The den's lit and the fire's good and the kettle's near the boil. There's nothing to do out here but freeze, and nothing to do in there but rest. So come in, and let the winter shut its door behind you. They turn and lift the lantern and duck in through the low fur-hung doorway, and you follow them down out of the cold and into the warm, and the fur curtain falls softly closed behind you. Inside, the den is deep and round and warm, dug down into the snow and lined all over with soft, thick furs, floor and walls, so that you seem to have come inside some great gentle animal that means only to keep you warm. A small fire burns low and red and clean in a ring of stones in the middle, its smoke drawn up through a neat hole in the snow roof, and its light dances warm on the fir walls. And the air is thick and warm and smells of wood smoke and clean fur and something sweet warming by the fire. Cushions and folded furs are heaped soft around the fire, and at the back of the den, in the warmest and softest place, a deep bed of furs has been made up and turned down ready, waiting. "Sit, sit," the keeper says, waving a mittened hand at the softest heap of furs by the fire. "Get the warm into you. There's no hurry now. The night's long up here, the longest nights in the world, and there's warmth enough in this den to last it twice over." And you sink down into the deep soft furs by the fire, and the warmth folds round you, and the last of the cold begins to leave your hands and your feet. The keeper busies themselves gently at the fire, lifting the kettle, and pours you a warm drink into a wooden cup, a hot sweet spice thing that steams fragrant in the warm air, and presses it into your two cold hands. And you cup it and feel the warmth soak into your palms and up your arms and into your chest, and with every slow sweet sip something in you unclenches that had been braced against the cold and the wind and the whole long white day. Outside, muffled by the snow and the fur, the winter night lies vast and still and silent, and now and then, faint and clear, a single snowbell rings, one small high silver note drifting in from the frost trees, and each time it does the keeper smiles a little, as though an old friend had spoken. After a while, when the warm has soaked well into you, the keeper takes up a small wooden mold from beside the fire and pours into it a little clear water from a jug that has stood cooling by the door, and sets it just outside in the still cold air. And while you both watch, over slow quiet minutes, the water in the mold turns to clear ice, patient and unhurried, and the keeper lifts it out at last, a small clear bell no bigger than a plum, and threads it on a length of gut, and ducks out through the fir door for a moment to hang it fresh among the frost trees. When they duck back in, cheeks bright with cold, they wait, and after a little the still air stirs the new bell, and it rings for the first time, one small high perfect silver note, and the keeper smiles wide. "There," they say, "a new one for tonight for you." It'll ring in the trees all winter long, one note now and then, keeping the silence gentle company, long after you've gone warm and rested on your way. Every guest gets a bell hung the night they come. There's a whole winter's worth of them out there, 100 quiet nights, all hung in the frost trees, ringing one at a time. And you listen to your bell fade, and something in you settles, to think of it ringing out there all the long winter, small and clear and kind. As you sit warming, a great soft shape rises from the shadowed edge of the den and comes ambling to the fire, and it is the keeper's dog, huge and shaggy and white. A creature of the deep snow with a broad, gentle head and warm, dark eyes and a thick coat, still cool at the tips from the night outside. It regards you a moment with mild friendliness, and then, deciding you belong, it circles once and folds itself down into the furs beside you with a great contented sigh and lays its heavy warm head across your feet and goes still, a warm and heavy weight. And you feel it breathing, slow and deep and even, warming your feet through, and its slow breath tugs gently at your own until you are breathing in time with the sleeping dog, slow and deep and warm. The keeper smiles, but does not remark on it. That's Bear, they say only. He sleeps where the warmest heart is. He's chosen you. He'll keep your feet warm the whole night through, and you'll sleep the better for it. There's no better hot water bottle in all the north than a good snow dog who's taken to you. And you rest your hand a moment in the thick warm fur of the great sleeping dog, and it rises and falls with his slow breath, and it slows you further still. The keeper reaches up, then, to a small shelf carved into the snow wall of the den, and takes down a wide, shallow bowl and a little cloth bag, and sets about a small, slow task by the fire, and you watch, warm and drowsy. As they scoop a bowlful of the clean, fresh snow from just outside the door, and stir into it a slow drizzle of dark wild honey and a few drops of something amber from a tiny stoppered bottle, folding it over and over with a wooden spoon until it becomes a soft, cold, sweet thing. Snow cream, the old treat of the long nights, and they spoon a little into a cup and pass it to you. It is cold and soft on your tongue and melts to sweetness at once, honey and snow and a faint warm spice, and it is the taste of 100 winters of children kept happy through the dark, and it asks nothing of you but to be enjoyed slowly, and you enjoy it slowly. And the great dog opens one eye at the smell of the honey and closes it again, content. An old recipe, the keeper murmurs. Snow and honey and a little warmth. The North has always known how to make the cold into something sweet. It's the whole trick of living up here, really. You don't fight the winter. You make it cozy. You make it kind. You find the sweetness folded into it, and there's always some if you take the time to look. And you spoon up the last of the sweet cold snow cream and set the cup aside, and you feel warmer than ever, warm all the way through now, deep and easy and glad. Outside, very faint and far, a wind moves once across the high snow and is gone, hushing over the drifts, and it only makes the warmth of the den the deeper by comparison, the way a far sound at night makes the quiet nearer. The fire ticks and settles. The great dog breathes slow across your feet. And somewhere out among the frost trees a snowbell rings, one note, small and high and silver, and the keeper tips their head to listen to it, and so do you, and the note hangs a moment in the vast cold dark and then is gone. And the silence it leaves behind is somehow warmer and rounder than the silence before it. The keeper settles across the fire from you, wrapped in their furs, and begins, softly, to tell you the things the hollow knows. How the snowbells are made each winter from the clearest water of the mountain spring, frozen slow in little molds and hung fresh in the frost trees, and how the still cold air rings them all winter long, one at a time, never a whole peal at once, so that the sound is never busy, only now and then a single note to keep the silence company. How the aurora that drifts overhead is silent to almost everyone, but that the very old people of the North swear that on the stillest nights you can hear it too, a sound so soft and high it is almost not a sound, and that it is the most peaceful sound there is, and that it is best heard on the very edge of sleep. How the deep winter, which the world below fears and hurries through, is up here a time of rest and warmth and long gentle dark, a time when everything that can slows down and dens up and sleeps, patient and warm, waiting out the cold in good company. You do not need to remember any of it. It is the kind of telling meant only to be listened to, the way you listen to a fire tick and settle and let go of. They tell you, too, of the travelers who have come down into the hollow to rest before you. the lost hunter caught out in a storm, who followed the sound of a single snowbell down to the warm den and slept the storm away and rose to a calm, bright dawn. The old herder who came every winter of her long life to den up in the hollow for the longest nights, and who said a person who had slept through a northern winter's night had slept as deep as it was given to anyone to sleep. The child afraid of the long dark, who was wrapped warm in furs and shone the great silent lights and taught the sound of the snowbells, and who learned that the dark could be warm and gentle and full of soft light, and was never afraid of the winter again. Everyone sleeps deep in this den, the keeper says, feeding one small stick to the fire. It's the warm that does it, and the dark, and the bells, and the great slow lights. You've done the hard part, the long cold crossing. All that's left is to lie down in the warm and let the winter rock you. There's no sleep in all the world deeper than a warm sleep in the deep of the cold. And outside a snowbell rings, soft and high and clear, and you feel your breath grow long and slow and warm. And then the keeper rises and lifts back a flap of fur high in the wall of the den, uncovering a small clear window of ice set into the snow roof, and through it you see the whole enormous sky, and it is the loveliest thing you have seen in a long while, and the loveliness of it asks nothing of you at all. Through the clear ice window the aurora fills the sky, great soft curtains of green and rose and the palest gold, drifting and folding and drawing slowly across the stars, silent and enormous and utterly gentle, brightening here, fading there. Forever moving and never in any hurry, a slow silent dance older than anyone who has ever watched it. The keeper leads you the few soft steps to the deep fur bed made up beneath the window, the warmest, softest place in the whole warm den, and turns back the top furs for you. Here, they say softly, this is yours for as long as the night lasts, and the night up here is very long. Lie down in the warm and watch the lights a while and let the bells ring you down. The fire will keep. The cold will keep out. I'll be right here by the coals, and I'll not let it go dark or cold, not once all the long night through. Sleep now and let the winter hold you. And you lie down into the deep warm bed of furs beneath the ice window, and the keeper draws the soft heavy furs up over you, and they are warm as a whole summer, and you look up through the clear ice at the great silent lights. You lie warm in the furs and watch the aurora drift, and it moves so slowly and so gently that you cannot quite see it move, only see that it has moved. A curtain of green gone soft and rose, a fold of light drawn slowly across a field of stars, and the watching of it empties your mind the way watching the sea does, or a fire, leaving nothing in you but the slow, soft drift of the light. The furs are deep and warm and heavy and smell of clean wool and wood smoke, and they hold you at every point, warm through, and beneath you the bed is soft, and behind you the fire glows low and red, and now and then, from out in the frost trees, a single snowbell rings, one small high silver note falling into the great warm silence, and each one seems to loosen you a little further and let you sink a little deeper into the warm. The long winter night lies still and enormous all around the hollow, and you are down in the warm heart of it, held in safe, and there is nothing at all to do now but watch the slow lights and hear the soft bells and let yourself be carried down. With every breath you sink a little further into the deep warm furs, and the furs a little further into the warm dark den, and the den a little further into the vast still winter night, until you cannot tell where you end and the warm quiet begins. There is nothing to carry now. There is nowhere to go before the dawn, and the dawn is a long, long, gentle way off, for the nights up here are the longest in the world, made for exactly this, for rest, for warmth, for a long, slow, deep, untroubled sleep. And there is more of the night ahead of you than you could ever need. You need do nothing now but breathe, and let the snowbells and the slow lights carry you down, slow and slower, into the deep warm dark at the bottom of the winter. Your body has grown heavy and easy and far away, warm to the very bone at last. The fire glows low and red and safe. The keeper sits gentle watch by the coals. The great silent lights drift green and rose across the ice window overhead. A single snowbell rings, soft and high and far, and fades, and the whole warm den holds you close in the deep of the winter night and asks nothing of you at all. Sleep now. The fire will keep, and the cold will stay out, and the lights will drift all the long night through, and a warm bed of furs is kept for you here in the hollow, tonight and every night, deep in the sheltered heart of the winter, where the bells ring soft and the great lights dance and no cold and no wind can reach, and there is nowhere in all the wide white world you need to be but here, gone warm and heavy and soft, wrapped deep in furs beneath the silent lights, sinking slowly down into the deep kind dark while the snowbells ring and the aurora drifts and the hollow holds you and lets you rest.